It's no secret that Tucker loves the ZYN. Listen to his own words. By the way, it's a nicotine pouch that's been incredibly popular in the last couple of years.
Organic, you just, all of a sudden you feel good.
Yeah.
Then you feel the power rising from your central nervous system and then sort of.
All right, here's the picture of him. Very intense, getting his ZYN out. But I was actually gonna show this in the video I did the other day. Look at him here while everyone else is like chanting with the crowd and getting keyed in. Look at how locked in he is right here. This is hilarious. Look at his face. What does he look? It looks like he's about to kill somebody. He's so keyed up. Like, that is. Oh man, that's unbelievable. He is ready to rock. So anyway, so he loves ZYN. He's doing ZYN the whole convention. He does it all the time. I'm gonna get to something about social dynamics and his speaking and presenting.
And he pulls this out. I'm like, what is that? He goes, it's the future. It's the future. It's a non-tobacco nicotine delivery device where you get all the whole grain goodness of nicotine, but none of the downside, none of the carcinogens. And I was like, I think I'm all in. So we drove to 7-Eleven and I stocked up. I got all the different flavors, coffee. They have a lot of intriguing flavors, I would say, but I stuck with spearmint and it's been a massive life enhancer. I'd really recommend it to you.
It's just fun how like
really recommend it as a life boosting thing. It's incredible actually how many entrepreneurs that I know that run their own businesses and they do either nicotine gum or ZYN as like part of their stack every day. But anyway, so okay, so let's get to his speech at the convention. What I want to point out is so many people think that being able to speak or present well in front of other people is something that you're born with. And it's such an intense thing because there's so many people, there's so many lights, you know, there's tens of thousands of people there. And in addition, millions of people watching you. It's just a crushing amount of social pressure. So you see these people who are really engaging and really dynamic speakers, they kind of shrink up a little bit, right? They're just not quite as dynamic. Their voice doesn't travel as well. They don't have as much expression. And that reduces your charisma. You know, if you're seen as trying too hard or seen as nervous, it does make people think that you're not as comfortable and that you're not as dynamic. And so unfortunately, that's the way it is. But Tucker, it's unbelievable how fluid he is. Tell me it doesn't look like he is just speaking to a friend, much different than his look the night before when he was in the lineup, looking like he wanted to kill somebody in the crowd. But this, it's important to see. So we'll watch him and see what your take is, and then I'll talk about why.
I watched the video of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania about 50 times. I think I was one of about 8 billion people around the world who watched it. And the more I watched it, the more it struck me that everything was different after that moment.
Doesn't it seem like he's just talking to his friend? Like, even the way that he pauses, it's like he's talking to a friend. Like, you know, people who are nervous, they have very intentional pauses, right? Wait just the right amount. And then this, it's almost like he's pausing, like waiting for the reaction of the crowd a little bit, waiting for him to gather his thoughts. It makes it seem very impromptu and off the cuff versus some teleprompter. And I think he actually did say he didn't have a teleprompter for this. Comes across so much more genuine, and it makes people feel a lot more connected, like they have rapport with
Trump
you.
is different. When he stood up after being shot in the face, bloodied, and put his hand up.
See, like that line could have been seen, because so many people, I'm sure, reference that here as just like very scripted. Oh yeah, they're gonna reference that. Did you see he stood up with blood coming from his ear and put his hand up? But this seemed opposite. This seemed incredibly genuine, doesn't it? Like he was telling, like, hey, what happened? I didn't see the video.
In the face, bloodied, and put his hand up.
Right? It seems so genuine. And so what I'm not gonna play this whole thing, but what I want to tell you is this type of comfort in front of these types of crowds can only come from so much repetition. And obviously he was a news anchor, so he has about as much experience talking in front of people in high stress situations and off the cuff as a human can. And neither you or I will ever have that. But it is something you can improve. Like the video I did about Dana White, if you would just rehearse one time in front of a camera, in front of a webcam, and notice your little tics, you definitely can improve. And it's kind of funny, you'll notice when you turn on the camera, sometimes, even though you're just recording, you know, you can delete it. It's just you that's going to see it if you don't put it out. It can be a little nerve-wracking. So it actually can kind of create some of that social pressure. It's interesting. Back when I was doing some programs for Cruz and Matrix, I had hired a few models to be demonstrators. This is probably 10 years ago. And even after so many snaps of taking pictures, when the video camera would start running, they'd kind of freeze up. just because they didn't have any experience with that. So it's definitely something that you can just practice a few times. I guarantee you do this. If you have a big presentation this week for work or for anything else, maybe you're giving a speech at a wedding or something, record yourself 3 times doing it. If it's a 5-minute speech, so what? Record yourself, notice the tics, write them down, do it again, and then watch the difference between the first and the fourth, and it will be night and day. And the most important thing is when you get up to give that speech, you'll have that confidence that everyone else will feel. Another thing that's a huge sign of how confident you are, the first thing that goes when you're nervous, is your vocal power. Your vocal cords kind of shrink up. Your body language kind of shrinks up. How do you feel in a place where you're intimidated? When you're a little outclassed by people who have more social status than you do. Maybe it's a celebrity's birthday party and he comes around you and you just kind of feel yourself just shrink a little bit. Your body naturally does that, and your vocal cords, they're fighting against you because they're saying, don't be too loud, don't stand out, don't let somebody who could dislike you hear you, don't be the tall blade of grass. And so you can either be comfortable, which is the best way to do it, but a lot of times we have to be into situations where we're not. We want to be perceived as being comfortable in those situations. So the first thing is awareness. So understand, maybe even as you record that first take on your video camera, notice your tone of voice. I bet you sound a little bit scared. I bet you thought you sounded a little more powerful than you do. So it's a good thing to think about as you're going through these dress rehearsals of these videos. How do I really sound? And a lot of people don't like the way they sound. Have one of your friends listen and say, hey, how's the vocal quality? Do I sound very confident here? When I'm talking to you normally, do I sound more confident than I do here? And if not, go back and do it again. And if you really want to boost it up, I actually have a program that specifically talks about how you can really increase the power and confidence of your voice. It's a long, in-depth program. It's not something you're going to do overnight. But I'll put a video to that below here if you want to learn more about that. Talk to you soon.